As you might know from my previous videos, I have decided to step away from my career in art. Despite giving a detailed explanation of my reasons, I have received many comments under the video blaming AI. I see a growing fear of AI and the impending destruction of every creative job. It's a fear I do not share, and in this video I will explain why. Meanwhile, I will transforming this box into a stunning piece of art. The idea that AI could pose a threat became obvious when everyone started changing their profile pictures into AI-generated versions of themselves. As a Viking, a space hero, or whatever this is supposed to be. Suddenly, people from the art world were afraid that nobody wanted to have a real portrait anymore. Who would be even impressed by the countless portraits that I made, when now it can be done with a single click? This made me think of earlier trends. Remember when Adobe Photoshop introduced the sketch filter? Everyone changes their photos from this to that. Back then there was a wave of questions, like why should we bother to learn to draw if the computer can do it for us? We were all awestruck. But once the initial shock wore off, we realized it wasn't as unique as we thought. The hype faded. Everyone changed their profile picture back and we started to enjoy drawing again. Now, I'm not saying that AI is just another passing trend. I believe AI, much like the sketch filter, represents a significant leap into technology. And there's no going back. But let's be honest, how many people do you know with an AI-generated profile pic? AI gave people a glimpse of what it is to be an artist. And soon enough, many people call themselves artists. This fascinated me. Maybe now you know how to put your words into an image, but creating art is so much more than just thinking of something and seeing the results. Say you know what it is to be an artist with AI is like playing Wii Sports and thinking you know what it's like to be a professional athlete. Take this project, for example, painting this box. This is an initiative by 13 Oderta, a group of young people trying to make the city more fun through various projects. For this project, they have to sit down with the box owners, get approval from the local authority, and they needed to get funding and sponsorships even before they had to ask the artist. As an artist, I was assigned to this box. There used to be a kennel in this street, so I thought it would be fun to bring that feeling back a bit. That's why I sent it in this design of a green. 13 Oderta had to go back to the table for approval before I was even allowed to get started. Oh, and to ensure the quality of every box, we also have a whole team to clean and prime all the boxes. So my design for this box was this card that I had previously designed and this sketch. These two things were the only things that I could hand it over to AI. Because for the painting itself, I still had to rely on my own skills. Of course, someone could have said, I ask AI for some designs and then print stickers and put it on the boxes. That would be pretty easy. But where's the fun in that? The real fun, the real project is about a team of young people wanting to make the city more enjoyable. Neighbors who submitted their boxes, artists who researched the neighborhood and applied their skills, and passers-by who noticed that something exciting has been organized. It's just one big appreciation of art and each other. These are all little stories and connections that go beyond what AI could ever offer. Let's say there's much more involved than just having the idea and seeing the results. So, if art is defined by time and complexity, is AI even real art? Let's first establish that programming something that results into AI in itself is a great form of art. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the art that AI puts out. Is that real art? This discussion reminds me of earlier debates. Because in creating art, there are so many methods. Some methods might be considered like a trick or even cheating, depending on your perspective. There are people that believe that a true artist creates everything from their imaginations, out of the nothing, without even using a reference. So is painting by using a reference not real art? The same goes for using materials. The old masters had to make everything themselves, stretch their canvases, prepare them, mix their own colors. Are you less of an artist when you don't do that? And what about digital art? Is that even real? In short, this discussion is not new, and we may never reach a definition of what real art really is. So do I completely stay away from AI? Not at all. I think AI can be a fantastic tool for artists. You could use AI specifically for reference material. And I think that's better than using random photos that you find on the internet. Because did you know that if you want to sell your art, you have to use royalty-free images? So it's better to take your own reference. Personally, I never used that because I was never satisfied about the quality that AI gave me. I even checked if AI could give me a better design for this box, but AI doesn't know what a baby grip looks like yet. That's why I prefer to rely on my own observations, my own references, and most importantly, my own skills. AI, however, greatly helped me with language, because let's face it, English is not my first language. I know, big shocker. I often write my scripts in Dutch, then I ask AI to translate and improve my text. And since AI doesn't get humor, I still have to make my own adjustments and put all the funny bits back in. This shows that I don't let AI do the work, but I do use it as a tool to enhance what I created. But AI is stealing our art. That's true, and this is a major issue that we need to look at carefully. I find it ethically questionable. Although I must admit that also this problem has existed throughout history. AI could easily design new Van Gogh or Vermeer. Again, this isn't new, humans did this before. We inspire each other and even replicate each other's work. The question then is for the client or the customer, would you prefer to have a fake of a real piece of art? And suppose you had made a fake Max, do you think that's a sign of respect to me or just a really big middle finger? I understand as an artist, you might not be happy if your art is used to train AI, and then it produces images that closely resemble your style. Personally, I don't feel threatened by this issue. It's even questionable if I have a unique art style at all. But it does seem to affect the art world, like mostly the digital art world. For me, it made me more conscious of what I post online. And I think that's a good thing. Using free social media platforms like Meta or whatever may seem free, but it's not really free. Years ago, we already realized we pay with our time getting advertisement, and those ads were suspiciously aligned with our desires. And now we increasingly discover what happens with our data and images. This discussion is a great opportunity to reflect on how much you want to share your data and your art, but also how we can create safe spaces on the internet. Places where our image might not be used for AI without consideration for ethics and user integrity. As an artist, it's always a challenge to find the best way to bring your art to the public, to reach the right and ideally large audience, but also to protect your art. These questions existed even before AI, but perhaps not in this extent. So is there still a point in learning to draw? Absolutely. I cannot say this enough. Making art is not about the end result. It's about developing your skills and enjoying the process of creating. Look, if you don't like lifting heavy weights, you will not become a bodybuilder. And if you don't like to create, you're not going to be an artist. The idea that it's no longer necessary to learn the skill because there's already somebody or something that can do it better and faster than you do, that's nonsense. That's telling a toddler, don't bother and learn how to talk because there are already people doing it much better and faster than you do. The idea that AI will ruin our creativity comes from a mindset from shortage, as if there's only a limited amount of art that can exist in the world and you are no longer needed. But we all know the world is much better with more art in it, so let's embrace more art. In conclusion, while the rise of AI into the art world brings concerns and criticism, it is crucial to realize that art is much more than just the end result. The process, collaboration, and human stories behind a piece of art are elements that AI cannot replicate. Although AI offers new possibilities, like serving as a tool for reference material or language support, it does not replace the creativity and passion required to create genuine art. The debate of what real art is complex and unlikely to reach a definite conclusion. However, it is clear that learning and practicing art remains meaningful because it brings so much joy, self-development, and expression. AI might contribute to this creativity, but it can never really replace it. So, do you know the real story about why I quit my art career? You should check out this video over here, and I will see you there.